Hello, everyone. We'd like to get started. We'll start with a pule by Commissioner Kalaupapa.
Oops, sorry, Kaniakua.
Oh, I'll do Kalaupapa then. Okay.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Pulikako. Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us together this morning, second day of the Hawaiian Homes Commission meeting in Kapolei. We ask that your presence be with us today, this morning, and the rest of the day, so that we can listen, learn, make sound decisions with regards to our responsibilities to the Hawaiian Homes Act and the legacy of Prince Kalanianaole. We ask that those who are also participating via online access also be part of our blessings from you. We ask that you look over us as we leave this day, and we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Okay, the meeting of the Hawaiian Homes Commission is called to order. The meeting is being held live and in person at Haleponoi 915420 Kapolei Parkway, Kapolei, Oahu, and virtually via Zoom. I'm Carly Watson, Chairman of the Hawaiian Homes Commission. Today's date is Tuesday, September 17, 2024, and the time is 9:37. Leo, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Freitas.
Here.
Commissioner Kalekini. Commissioner Kalepa is excused. Commissioner Kaniakua.
Aye.
Commissioner Lasua.
Here.
Commissioner Marfil is joining.
Bill.
Commissioner Namu'o as well.
Here.
Commissioner Nevis.
Aye.
Chair Watson.
Here.
8 members present. We have a quorum.
Okay, the order of the day, we'll do the public testimony, then item C6, D1, G3, G5, and G6, then the J agenda. At noon, the commission will recess for lunch. And I'd like to mention I'll be excusing myself at 11:30 and thank Commissioner Kaniakua for taking the helm in my absence. I will be traveling to the Big Island to participate in the CNHA conference, along with meeting with the Secretary of Treasury to discuss some federal legislation. Okay, so let's start with
One public testify. Blossom.
public testimony. Blossom Fatera.
Yes. Oh, you want to testify when we call it or at the start? Okay, okay. Then C6.
Okay, we'll start with C6, for information only, status report of DHHL Enforcement Unit efforts and statistics. David Hoke.
Morning, Chair Watson and
Morning.
Hawaiian Homes Commissioners. David Hoke, Administrator for the Enforcement Unit. Again, agenda item C6, and this is just a summary of our work from August 12th through September 8th. So in this time frame, we received 11 requests for investigations, and we have the breakdown per island, and we generated 23 reports, and to date, we've compiled 155 reports in this calendar year. In this time frame, we also had the official start of Casey Corpus as our legal assistant too. We're very excited with that. One of the biggest things that I believe that she's going to bring to the table for our unit is the response to the lessees for remediation efforts after our investigation. And generally speaking, that usually fell on HSD, but as we know, they're swamped with so many different responsibilities. So I believe this will be very big for us in the more serious cases. She's been on only for a few weeks, and already she's been jamming out letters. So I believe it's going to be a huge asset to the unit and overall the department. Also, investigator Nick Bolan got certified to fly a drone, and the reason that's so huge is we just got a request from LMD to go identify and locate homeless guys on a parcel, and that parcel is 43 acres. So the ability for three of us to go walk through 43 acres and locate these guys in a time-efficient manner is very difficult. So having those resources, we're trying to become a lot more productive, a lot more better with our time. And we also believe that there's other uses for that within the department. So little things like that, we're trying to enrich our staff. And also Kip and Nick, they attended the National Native American Law Enforcement training over the past month. They completed training courses in drone assessment, wildfire investigations, and also different investigation tactics. So again, we're putting an emphasis on increasing the quality of our work and being more productive for the entire department. Also in this time frame, we attended the Hope Awareness Community event as we were invited by former Commissioner Patty Taruya. That was an event held in Nanakuli. It was a good opportunity for us to show unity with HPD and the Honolulu Prosecutor's Office. So we spent some time with Major Lambert and Judge Alm, and we engaged with the community members there. And then also we had to invest some time into Tropical Storm Hone when during that time, there's a few calls, we had to go respond and make sure that that information was communicated to the rest of the department. As for the vacant home initiative that we began a few months ago, so initially we started off with Papakolea. In that time, we found 31 homes that we believed were vacant or appeared to be vacant. After we started splitting it up, 7 of those homes are already in our inventory. And then we found out that 3 of the homes were actually occupied by the lessees. 6 of those homes are pending transfer. So while the home is not in a good state, it's in a movement to go transfer to somebody who can go and start taking those efforts to bring the home not only into compliance, but occupy it, which is the ultimate goal for us. One of those homes is still pending a decision in order, which, again, we have to follow up on and make sure we're taking the steps to get that decided on. But out of the remaining 14 homes, we sent out the letters to, again, begin the contact efforts with those lessees. To date, we received 11 responses, which is, again, a good thing. And then 4 out of those 11 have been referred to our loan services branch so that they can look at different funding options to, again, try and get those homes in a livable condition because we want those homes occupied. And so we'll continue to work that area. But then we also started on the next area, which is Waimanalo. And our first initial look over the area, we found located 33 homes that we believe are same thing, either vacant, dilapidated, unoccupied. So the next step, again, will be sending out breaking down the different categories that they fall into, and the ones that are leased out, we have to go make efforts to locate the lessees, find out what their situation is, provide them some efforts to remediate. And if they're not willing to take those steps, then, we have to go, push that along, because that ultimately is the goal, is we need those things occupied. Lastly, about the pilot program, in this window, we didn't receive any new reports of organized criminal activity in the west side area of Oahu. To date, we have 9 reports that have been received, and we cross-referenced all those with HPD. 5 of those reports have been unsubstantiated. 1 of those was confirmed, and 3 of those are still pending. So that pending means after we got those reports, we sent it over to HPD. They're still actively investigating it, so we're standing down to give them that opportunity first. 1 of the homes that we did go do our home inspection with HPD, they actually came forward, the lessee came forward, and now they're in the process of transferring that lease. So again, this is one of those, in my opinion, it's a win for the department, because we're not having to cancel the lease, but that home, we don't believe it was drug distribution, but the occupants appeared to be drug users. So again, that's an issue for the community, but the collaborative effort, the pressure made the lessee to come forward, decide that they're not in a situation where they're able to occupy or want to occupy the home. They're transferring it to somebody that will do it, and then we'll stay on top of that. But hopefully that's how we alleviate the problems without having to cancel those leases. And yeah, again, we kind of, all these reports, we do our best to cross-check it with what comes into the police, just to make sure it's not a matter of not getting the complaints. And based off of the homestead and the police reports that were generated in this window, yeah, we didn't see anything that falls into that category of organized criminal activity. Any
Any comments or Commissioner Nevis?
Yeah, thank you, David. Yeah, appreciate your help in Kauai, getting those issues resolved in Kauai. My only other issue is on the vacant property. Did you get a list of properties that we can go check out in Kauai? There's quite a few.
Okay. Yeah, so again, we want to hit all the homesteads. The biggest thing that I think for time is we need that engagement from the staff on island and then also the I guess the homestead leaders in that community. So definitely Kauai, all of them, we do want to get, but we're gonna have to get that starting off point with the staff first, just because, again, with only 3 guys, if we literally have to go up and down every street, I think that's gonna be difficult. I think the homestead leaders, the staff, they should have at least a general idea of, the problem areas, and I believe that's a good start for us. Okay?
Yeah, I believe, well, my point was, yes, I don't need you walking up and down the streets.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
bad enough walking up 43 acres. No, I'm just wondering, are you getting a response from our district manager as far as what lots are vacant and how long they've been vacant? If we're not getting that information, then Jared, I hope that we get Juan Garcia to make sure we get that information. So when they do have time, they can come out. We have quite a few homes that are empty. Don't seem to be any drug activity, but they are an eyesore, and some have been vacant for 10 years. And there's vacant lots that have been cleared, haven't been issued. Again, another eyesore. One lot's been, out there for 15, 20 years. We finally got it cleared, but we got the old, dust fence still up there. It's falling apart, so we need to move on those things. So I appreciate if we get some more help from HSD.
Yeah, so to answer your question, yeah, we have not gotten a response. So I'll work with Juan
Okay.
and just say, we got to get that starting off point, because that's a huge advantage for us. And
Yeah.
I think once we start making movement, those that see we're taking action, then I think a lot of people will proactively come forward and make those decisions, either occupy or decide if, maybe they have to transfer or surrender.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, Dave, on the 7 that you identified in Papakula that are in the DHHL inventory, what's the status on that? Have you been working with the HSD or what's going on?
So yeah, those ones we're working with actually LDD, because they're deciding on if the home is in a condition to remediate or if it has to be torn down. So I believe at this point, they're going through that, they're making that assessment. Some of them, I believe, are gonna have to be torn down. And the other ones, I think they're looking at, how much will it cost to remediate? So I think
Yeah.
that's kind of the difficult part, is trying to keep the costs down with the remediation efforts. And in Papakula, I believe it's especially difficult with the slopes and the infrastructure to kind of maintain those homes.
Okay, then the 14 that you sent out letters, you got 7 responses, and then the other 7 that didn't respond. What's the game plan on those?
So
Are
actually
you
just
turning it
to-
over to the AGs or? what?
So to clear it up, yeah, 14 homes are remaining. We sent out letters to 13,
Oh,
and
13.
then 11 of them have responded.
Oh, okay,
And then so out of those 11, 4 of them, they expressed the desire to kind of, they need to rebuild their home or fix it up. So those have been referred out to loan services branch. For the remaining ones, again, we'll give them a time period to make a decision on what they have to do. However, if they're not making proactive steps, then yeah, we're gonna have to take it to the next step of asking for a contested case hearing.
okay. And then those that are obviously just a real eyesore, abandoned, lack of response. I think the department might want to take the initiative to actually tear it down if it's a real eyesore and health hazard.
Yeah.
I think we need to get aggressive on clearing up the community areas. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Any questions or comments?
Mr. Chair,
Okay, we'll go straight down the order.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Namuo?
yes, we did get to visit Papakolea, and they were concerned about 2 particular houses that need attention on ELKS Street, and I will pass those addresses on to David so that they can tell us what the status is at this time. Thank you.
Yeah, Commissioner Namuo, that's a great point, especially commissioners, as well as different associations out there listening to this meeting, if there are particular homesteads that are really a lot of issues, a lot of, whether it's drug dealers or whatever, do please communicate that to us. And we'll put those as a priority and respond accordingly. Thank you. Commissioner Kaneko?
Thanks for your work, David. I got a chance, you guys have kind of adopted me as a mascot, so I go along with you. I think that the drones are a great idea, and hopefully you have access to those. That could have kept you folks from getting into some places that are dangerous for you, and get a good look at it before you go in. So thanks for making sure that that happens. Those drones could have saved us a whole lot of anxiety going into a couple of the places on the Big Island. So, man, whatever you need, please make sure that the department knows. People, when we're visiting, they get you mixed up with law enforcement. And I think there's an incorrect perception that you're there to enforce laws. And can you just talk about that a little bit? Because people keep coming to you to take care of crime, and that's not what we do at the department. So would you mind commenting on that, please?
Yeah, so, we're doing our best to go meet with the associations, the NSWs, and really clear that up and let them know that it's two different avenues. There's the criminal element, which is the responsibility of law enforcement and generally county police. And then our responsibility is the lease violations. The two can intersect in a way where a crime is a lease violation. However, we make it as clear as we can that we don't have the legal authority to even say something is a crime. No matter what our training is, no matter what we see in front of us, we can't make that declaration. So that's why that relationship with the police is so important. But then we also want to stress to our beneficiaries that you need to understand the two, because if you do need help, you need to be making the call to the right people. We're not first responders. And yet we cannot make that declaration that there is a crime happening. So that's why it's very important that when we do get in front of them, we let them know. That's probably usually the first thing I say is that we're not police officers, and having them understand that. And then also having them understand that the process to cancel the lease, there still is a burden of proof. And while it may be frustrating when you're dealing with the situation, if you're on the other side, if the due process is there, so we cannot just come in, make an allegation and take your lease away. So having our beneficiaries understand the full process has helped out a lot. So when we do get in front of them, they ask the questions, we explain it, there's a lot more clarity. And even when we do that in a community where the engagement with the police is also strong with us together, like it is on the Waianae Coast and especially on the Big Island, it runs so much smoother. And as you saw, once the police know that we're there to help and we're there to kind of do it, but we're coming in from our angle, they'll go into dangerous places with us. They'll be, okay, we know that you guys have to do this for a job, but we're gonna provide bodies for you guys so you guys can go do it safely. So I think that's a huge perk, but then we have to also make sure our beneficiaries are informed of the two different things. So yeah, again, any homestead associations or NSWs that want to engage with us, we're willing. We want to meet with you guys. We want to clear everything up. And while they may not like all the rules, I think it's better that they know what the rules are and how it's broken up, and then that's how we can better address the situations and challenges.
Thank you.
Any other Commissioner Freitas?
First of all, brother, thank you for all you guys' hard work. To echo what Commissioner Kaneko said, I am impressed with the forward thinking and the aggressive, ethos behind you guys' attack plan here, broadening your spectrum of using technology, looking out and acquiring other resources to improve efficiency. Also echo what Commissioner Kaneko said, whatever we can do on this side of the table to help facilitate discussions, help improve dialogue, and just improve the overall spectrum of education and communication with their beneficiaries, so they do know the jurisdictional differences. They do know who to call when you're in this particular situation. Please, brother, just pick up the phone and let us know, and whatever we can do to help, we got you guys back on that. Thank you.
All right, appreciate that. Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioner Sue.
Yes, Commissioner. David, thank you for working on things that matters to the beneficiaries. I want to thank you for your response to some of those emails that I've seen come through. And I know sometimes the beneficiaries think you're a police department, like you say, but I'm just glad that you're there to help us beneficiaries, especially on Molokai. So eventually I'll be seeing you over there at some point, but
Yes.
thank you.
Definitely. Thank you.
Commissioner Kalakini.
Yeah, I wanted to also express my really commending the three of you, Kip and Nick, for what you guys do and the reach out that you guys do, going to all the different associations and meeting with folks. I did want to ask a quick question. So I know you send out the email on a monthly basis, and I know you don't put everyone's name, which is great. I'm just curious as to how many folks do receive that email roughly.
I believe it's 53 right now, and obviously I'd love to have at least one point of contact in every homestead association.
Right.
That's the perfect, the perfect scenario. We have reached out and having got the responses, I'll continue to do that. Yeah, I'll ask, like the Shaw and things like that do have those connections, but at this point, if we're not giving them, we're gonna do our best with whoever's willing to engage with us at this point. But ideally, I'd like one from every association.
Yeah, really appreciate the work you guys do. Thank you. Thank you,
Okay.
Chair.
We do have some public testimony. Kikoa Inamoto.
Aloha mai kākou, commissioners. E kala mai,
Morning.
I'm sort of tangentially testifying on enforcement, specifically on enforcement of high-tech compliance requirements. And I want to thank David Hope for his presentation. So on the passage of C4 yesterday, I wanted to offer some solutions and specifically with regard to strict, dispassionate compliance with LIHTC requirements. I want to suggest that we have a homestead property management entity to enforce LIHTC requirements, an entity that performs in a culturally appropriate way, that is with clarity, compassion, patience, and community-based kokua. It's about sovereignty, self-governance, and self-determination. Secondly, with regard to Prince Kuhio's intention to return our people to the Aina vis-a-vis residing in condominiums, I would like to suggest that that our beneficiaries seek community gardens on site or nearby to Waipouli. Again, it's about self-determination. And lastly, let us all ensure that Director Cully Watson's proper provisions are implemented for beneficiary succession during the 15-year LIHTC compliance period. It's all about accountability and collaboratively working together, the department and the beneficiaries, in the exclusive interests of the Hawaiian Homes Commission Act beneficiaries. Mahalo.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, David.
Thank you.
Okay, next item, D1, HSD status reports. Juan Casir.
Good morning, Chair.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Again, for the record, Juan Garcia, Homestead Services Division Administrator. D1 is provided to you for your information only. It provides information with regards to the totals on outstanding leases, application updates, and delinquency report. I just want to highlight that as of August 31st, there's a total of 10,056 leases statewide. Of that total, 735 remain as undivided interest leases. The breakdown is Kapolei as 173 undivided interest leases, Waimanalo 12. Kauai in Anahola, there's 88. Laiapua on Hawaii Island, 212, and Maui, 250 UI leases. Existing applications throughout the state total 47,307 applications, which represents 29,542 applicants. As far as loan delinquency, the delinquency has stabilized. There's statewide dollar amount is 25.1%, and the numbers, total delinquency is 24.3 statewide. I may answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions, commissioners? If not, thank you, Juan.
Thank you, commissioners.
Okay, G5, information, only draft environmental assessment and anticipated findings of no significant impacts regarding the Ewa Beach Homestead project.
Aloha Chair, members of the Commission, Lehua Kinilau Kano with the Nahasda Government Relations Program Manager. With me, I believe virtually should be either Jennifer or Melissa from SSFN. Again, this is a for information only submittal that was prepared, as you folks are well aware, through the Hawaiian Homeland Recovery Act. The department did receive 80 acres in Ewa Beach through that process, and that process is going through review, master plan, as well as environmental assessment. This is really to let you folks know that the draft environmental assessment is expected to be available to the public on September 23rd. And there will be community meetings and opportunity for comment through that process. I'm not sure if Jennifer or.
Hi, this is Jennifer. Melissa's actually logging on right now as well.
Okay, Jennifer, did you want to cover anything about the process and how we arrived at the preferred alternative, or anything you'd like to share with the commission?
Yeah, I could just go through the presentation. It seems Melissa's having to install Zoom again, so she's not able to be here right this second. Let's see.
This is our consultant,
Yes, assistant.
and the guy's not available. It's kind of
Melissa
irritating.
is unable, but Jennifer is also working with us too, from
Okay.
SSFN.
Okay, so there we have the thing. Okay, so yeah, so this is the Ewa Beach Homestead project. We have just submitted the draft environmental assessment for public publication, and it'll be published on September 23rd. However, first we're going to go through a basic project overview, status update, our engagement process, how we got to the proposed action, and the schedule, and then leave some time for questions and answers. So the purpose of this project was to provide residential homesteads to beneficiaries on the Oahu residential waiting list. We want to create a homestead community in Ewa that honors the culture, environment, and sense of place. And through this process, we have involved the beneficiary lessees, waiting list applicants, and the surrounding community to envision this new community and shape the proposed action. So the location of this is on approximately 80 acres in Ewa Beach. It is bounded by Fort Weaver Road and North Road, and then the Ewa Beach Golf Club on the east side. South of the project area, south of Fort Weaver Road, is primarily residential, and then on the west side is also primarily residential with both single-family homes and low-rise apartments. So the project scope has included a few different things. First of all, there was an infrastructure analysis to identify, what infrastructure is there, what needs to be improved upon. Then there's a master planning process where we developed a master plan and identified different alternatives to eventually get to the preferred alternative, or what is the proposed action in the environmental assessment. And then where we're at now with the environmental compliance, we are currently doing the HRS 343 environmental assessment, which will be followed by the HUD National Environmental Policy Act requirements. Through this entire process, there's been a community engagement program where we have sought input from beneficiaries, the community, elected officials, other community stakeholders, cultural practitioners, and just basically whomever is available to provide feedback that has any type of stake in this project. So this project started way back in like mid 2022 with small group meetings, did a presentation to the Hawaiian Homes Commission and had a beneficiary meeting. Then, we're going through the master planning process. We have more neighborhood board presentation, another community meeting, another presentation, to where we are now, which is getting ready to publish the environmental assessment. We did a neighborhood board presentation earlier this week, and we're here today doing the Hawaiian Homes Commission presentation. And then also to inform you that the environmental assessment will be published on the 23rd, and we will be having a community meeting on the October 9th. So that'll be open to all. Part of this process involved a lot of technical studies. A phase 1 environmental site assessment, which can also include hazardous material survey, magnetometer survey. We had to do topographic, biological for the flora and fauna. As I mentioned earlier, the infrastructure. We also had an archaeological literature review and field investigation, as well as a cultural impact assessment, and then a traffic study, and then last but not least, the sea level rise and a coastal hazard study. So those studies will also be included in the environmental assessment. So I mentioned that we had a lot of community outreach. So we had the beneficiary consultation meetings. We completed 2. The next one is planned for November. We did a survey of beneficiaries, 13 responses received. We had the one community meeting as part of the master planning process, and the other one is planned for October 9th, which is right in the middle of the 30-day public review period for the environmental assessment. We are giving ongoing updates to Kapolei Homestead leaders, neighborhood board presentations. We just had that one last week on September 12th. And then tomorrow we are doing a town hall meeting with Senator Favella's office. So as part of the beneficiary meetings, I mentioned that we looked at different alternatives, and the preferences were for the single family housing, but also have some low-rise multifamily housing, as well as a rent with option to purchase instead of just an outright purchase, and kupuna housing. Other uses identified were, community center, area for gatherings and events, and, walking and bike paths. There was concern about making sure there's multiple access routes to the community via Fort Weaver and North Road, so those have been included. We have 3 access routes off of Fort Weaver and 1 off of North Road in the proposed action. And then, of course, in most residential communities, traffic calming, just to make sure people aren't racing up and down the streets. So the concerns were congestion and commute times. Once again, the connection to Fort Weaver to North Road for connectivity and evacuation, since this is a coastal area and tsunami evacuation zone. It was brought up that the Makai area of the site has poor drainage, and it's also within a sea level rise area. The school access and capacity in the area, pedestrian safety, and then the nearby uses. There is a shooting range that is nearby that we have had many conversations with. And then the current USGS observatory. So these issues are also addressed in the environmental assessment. So here's where we get to the proposed action. And based on the beneficiary preferences, we're proposing 220 residential single-family homes. Those are in the yellow. Those homes are located outside of the flood zone and the sea level rise area. We have a couple of spots for multifamily residential for a total of 120 to 160 units. Those are the red. Those are on the west side and then kind of on the southeast side of the property. Community use, which is that little blue section, and that'll be common areas. Community agriculture, the kind of green area for residents to be able to produce their own food, plants, fruits, vegetables, flowers, other crops. Basic stewardship, which is land that will just be maintained as is for now. And then, of course, all the internal roads, the infrastructure, the drainage, and open space. And you'll see on the far southeast portion, that is going to be a space reserved for open space and drainage. So as part of the environmental assessment process, we had to look at what the potential impacts are and then propose measures to minimize those impacts. So the measures that are proposed are, your basic construction-related best management practices that are in compliance with the various regulations for stormwater, dust, noise, the protected species, historic, cultural, archaeological resources, hazardous material, and waste disposal. Then also the stormwater, which I just pointed out in that southeast corner. So the retention, treatment, and drainage. Siting and adapting the development for resilience to coastal hazards and sea level rise. As I mentioned, like those single family homes are outside of those hazard areas. And then the multifamily homes will be designed as such to be able to adapt to that. The alternative routes for evacuation of vehicle access, there are three connections to Fort Weaver Road and one connection to North Road, and then intersection improvements along Fort Weaver Road. So the environmental assessment schedule, we just submitted that for publication yesterday to the environmental review program that will be published on September 23rd, which is next Monday. That opens the public comment period, which is 30 days. So that will end on October 23rd. We are having the public meeting on October 9th. As I said, that is open to everybody, and we will be have already sent out information on that, and we'll continue to send out reminders of that meeting. November 14th will be the beneficiary meeting number 3. And then we expect to come back to the Hawaiian Homes Commission in the December meeting to request approval of the final EA and the issuance of the FONSI. And then the publication of the final EA and FONSI would be in January. At that time, we would complete the NEPA HUD environmental review requirements. And that is the presentation.
Let me just make a couple of comments. I like the layout that you folks have presented. Initially, I was kind of upset that we even took this property because of the fact that it's going to be inundated with water, for the end of the century. But with this particular use, especially with the residential, where we can maybe develop 220 single-family residential units adjacent to the golf course. That's nice. I think we'd have a lot of interest in that, and it is a good location. With respect to the rest of the land, you've presented some very viable options and things that we can consider. I guess what's also good is once we complete the NEPA and stuff, we can actually go in for federal funding. So the timing is good on this one. So I think we will proceed with going after some federal fund for the development of this project. Any other comments, commissioners? Commissioner Kaniakua?
I have a comment because in your consultation, in your listening sessions, I noticed that there was some interest in low-rise multifamily, lease to own, and of course, kupuna housing. Can you just give us some
So if you
background on that?
see on the map, I think this is page 7 in your submittal, that red area that's, I think it's considered on the east side of this. It's right adjacent to other multifamily housing in the area. So the thought process is it's very similar. It's not different from what's neighboring the area. And then on the other side by the golf course, again, to Chair's point, to maximize that golf frontage would be another opportunity. But when we did beneficiary consultation, so we had 3 alternatives. One was just single family. One was sort of a mix. It was a little bit more dense than what's here. And then the third one was full density. And the sea level rise did come up, but we did hear from beneficiaries that, you know, rents are very high right now. We need options for housing. Those are some of the feedback that we did receive. Obviously, single family is an interest, but people are renting and living where they're renting now. And the sentiment was, we'll take what we can get at this point, given the high cost of housing. That was sort of the sentiment. Jennifer or Melissa, did I miss anything, or is that congruent with what you folks heard?
I would agree. Thank you.
And I think, talking to Senator Favela, his concern was traffic impact on Fort Weaver Road.
Yeah.
But the fact that we have the alternative connecting to the North Road is actually a very good option. And I believe with that particular approach, you'd be a lot more receptive and supportive.
So the 2 issues we heard a lot was traffic. If you know this area, traffic was one of the main issues. The other issue that came up was education, schools, because Campbell is, that complex is already overcrowded. So those are some of the issues that came up, but connectivity. So there's some interest that by building this, God forbid if a tsunami came, these people on the front side, they don't have anywhere to evacuate up the road. So this would be an important connectivity between Fort Weaver and North Road. That came up. And then that was the general sentiment, I think, that I heard. There is an interest on this lower hatched area where there's drainage, because you see where Pu'uloa Beach Park is right across the street. There isn't opportunities for gatherings. So would there be an opportunity for like a pavilion area that the community could use? Would that be like a short-term use? Could it generate revenue if it was utilized by outside community members for a fee? I mean, these are the kinds of conversations that are happening. I think people are excited that there's opportunities for community garden, community use in general, as well as this idea of stewardship as well. So there was general excitement around in trying to address the sea level rise issues on the Makai portion of the property, and it was trying to be creative.
Yeah, good job. Okay. Any other comments, Commissioner Kalekini?
Yeah, Lehua, mahalo. This is very exciting project. I wanted to ask, can you summarize how we got to 80 acres? What was the background on that?
So this is the Hawaiian Homelands Recovery Act. So there were lands that were removed from the trust by the federal government. And so in order to make the trust whole, lands were returned from the federal government. So there was an outstanding acreage. And so when any lands come up for potential, NOAA isn't gonna use this whole space anymore. Those, they call it surplus lands, needs to be offered to DHHL. Okay. So that notice came out for surplus lands for this. And so there was some preliminary review that was done. And again, because it's near a residential area and there is infrastructure nearby, the thought process was it would be a great opportunity. There's some cultural, there's sinkholes, there's, it may not be the easiest, but But there are opportunities, as you can see, what's adjacent.
And so the USGS Observatory, that whole area is still being utilized by
It's
the
still
federal
being
government?
utilized, so that's why they have that internal portion, because they need so much space around their magnet. To Chair's credit, he tried to talk to them about, can you relocate to somewhere in Kalailoa as an example? So
Right.
we can have more of this land.
Yeah, that's.
Unfortunately, it's something about the measurement, and it's been there for so many years, and it's not as simple as just relocating.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Our consultants. Okay, the next item G6 for information only. Kalaupapa National Historic Park, fuel storage and dispensing facility draft environmental assessment.
Aloha kako commissioners, good morning.
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 Unfortunately, we had National Park Service Superintendent and Deputy, I believe, are out in the field this morning. So they may not be able to join us in time for this item. But I believe the submittal has a lot of detail in it. So I won't kind of go through all of that too thoroughly, because I know we're pressed for time this morning. So I guess we can just go through the slides quickly. And so DHHL is assisting the National Park Service with their HEPA compliance. So they do a NEPA process for their projects, but because it's state land, Chapter 343 is triggered. And so we advised them that they needed to do a HEPA EA as well. So we're at the draft EA phase for HEPA. And so they prepared this project because the existing fuel tanks are underground. The Department of Health has been managing them, and they are too close to the ocean. They're aging and they need to be replaced. So we anticipate a finding of no significant impact. As I said, this is a HEPA and NEPA document. NPS is also going through a Section 106 consultation and working with SHPD on 6E compliance. And so we try to bring these draft EAs to you for any comments you may have prior to publication of the environmental notice. Next. So there have been updates to the commission previously on Kalaupapa. We do intend to do another one before the end of the year. So I won't go into too much detail about this, but the National Park Service actually only owns 23 acres, which is around the Kalaupapa Lighthouse, but they manage an additional 1,247 acres of 1,290 acres of DHHL land. So there's more land up topside at Pala'au State Park that is not within the National Historic Park boundary. There is a general lease, and that, but they also manage land with DLNR, and they have a cooperative agreement with DLNR. And then Department of Health is still the administrator in Kalawao County and of the settlement. Next. So this just kind of shows you the location and the land ownership. So as it is shown, Settlement Cliff and Trail is DHHL Hawaiian Homelands, 1,247 acres. And that's where the new site for the fuel facility is going to be located. Next. This is just a table that shows the different agencies that are administering down there and managing. It is a multi-jurisdictional situation. And so when we do the Kalaupapa update, you'll hear more about how the different agencies are trying to coordinate as gradually the Department of Health kind of moves out of running all the utilities and is slowly transferring those responsibilities to the National Park Service. Next. This talks about the existing utilities. So this colony goes back to 1866. The Board of Health was running things for the kingdom. And then it continued through all the way to state government when the Department of Health was created. And the Hansen's disease branch is currently managing and governing Kalawao County. The National Historic Park was formed in 1980 and they are currently managing the water system, the electrical system, telecommunications, vehicle fueling, and roads. Next. So the challenge is that the underground storage tanks are located across from the pier, and they were constructed in the late 80s. They're vulnerable to sea level rise and coastal hazards such as tsunami, and will be commissioned prior to 2028 as they're ending their 30-year warranty. And this project will provide the settlement and the park with a reliable fuel facility designed to modern standards. Next. So they did assess different alternatives, different locations, no action alternative, etc. They found the best site possible because it was previously used for agriculture and pastoral. At one time, the settlement was food self-sufficient, fairly food self-sufficient. Taro was grown in nearby valleys, including brought all the way from Halava Valley. And, but they had their own cattle, they had truck gardens, and they were, you know, they fed themselves. But that's no longer the case. There are, you know, a pretty low number of patients that are still residing in the settlement. And so this site has been previously graded. It's been inactive for quite a while. They've used it for parking vehicles and that sort of thing. So this design will be outside, the location will be outside of the tsunami inundation zone. There'll be above ground storage tanks, spill and leak prevention and containment. And it's also screened by surrounding vegetation. So visually, at least from as you drive by, it won't be visible. And there's a fire break road. So it's, again, an ideal location for this new facility. Next slide, please. So these are just some visuals of the project location as proposed. Again, it's an open field, previously graded. Next slide. So the work will consist of 5,000 gallon above ground double walled fuel storage tanks. One will be for diesel. There'll be a modern fuel dispensing and monitoring system. They've discussed, because there's multiple agencies, you know, different agencies will probably have cards, and then they can track how much fuel is going to be used, and it's just a better way to manage it. It will be much, much safer. And they will have electrical and telecom to the site. There's a lot of safety features, emergency features, et cetera. Next. So these are the slides that the National Park Service was going to share. Has Nancy Holman or Lynn on logged on by any chance, Leah? Can you just check? Nancy Holman or Lynn on Cat. No, they're out in the field. Okay, that's okay. So they just had a few slides. We'll go through them quickly. They're a little redundant. Okay, next slide. This shows the, you know, there's existing projects. There's two other projects that are either underway or in the planning stage. One has, I believe, been brought before you in the update. That's the fence repairs and maintenance. And then the other one is the electrical upgrade. They need to stabilize the grid. So that one is still undergoing environmental review. Next. So I think we went over the purposes of the project. Again, Department of Health needs to decommission those existing fuel tanks. They're gonna maintain the little gas station. It's really cute. And so that's of course historic. So they're gonna maintain that, but it just won't be operational. Next. Again, the project location for anyone who's been in Kalaupapa, Damien Road is the road that you take to get across the peninsula to Kalawao, to the Kalawao side. Next. They did do an archaeological inventory survey. They did not uncover any historic resources, just kind of, old bottles and that sort of thing. And they do have a historic landscape report as well. Next. So this actually shows the design and where it's located. It's not using the entire area. It's 0.83 acres of it. And it's using an existing entryway. And it's just going to have some improvements with paving and that sort of thing. And then it's going to be a circular system where, if there's more than one vehicle going in, they can kind of line up there. And then, there's going to be a lot of fire suppression, that sort of thing. And there's going to be, from what I saw, there's a little covered place where you actually put in the fuel, and that's going to be done to something that's a style that's suitable, because it is a historic district. The settlement is a historic district. Next. So this again is another overlay onto the aerial. It's kind of blurry, hard to see, but okay, next slide. So this is some of the information and outreach that's happened already. There was a newsletter. They received public comments. This is part of their NEPA process. They've been consulting with the state historic preservation. They did U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. And since we said, you got to do an EA for this, they're doing that. And they have a consistency determination already for NEPA. Okay, next. So we do have existing plans for Kalaupapa that apply, not just to Kalaupapa, the general plan, but we do have a Molokai Island plan. We have land use designations. It's special district, that's kind of the periwinkle color. And then there's a couple of small areas of community use, and then the cliffs are all conservation. Next. So the project is aligned with applicable policies in the DHHL general plan. The Molokai Island Plan 2005 was deemed not suitable for homesteading because of its remoteness and inaccessibility. So the designations, as I said, are special district, community use, and conservation. And the regional plan did not identify any priority projects for Kalaupapa. The National Park Service prepared a general management plan, and this project was discussed in that general management plan, which we did 2 rounds of beneficiary consultation for. Next. So I'm not going to detail it's all in the submittal, what is being stated as why there are no crossing of the threshold of significance, which is why we can anticipate a FONSI. And these are the next 2 slides are just the 13 items that we're looking at and evaluating. And then when the comment period is done, the final EA will incorporate those comments and hopefully respond to them. And we will bring that back to you, reevaluate the significance criteria, and then you need to base your finding of no significant impact on that you're comfortable that all of these, any potential impacts have been mitigated, and that, it's meeting all of these below the significance criteria. Next. Keep going. And that, I believe, is it. Oh, next step, sorry. So we want to consider comments from Hawaiian Homes Commission and public testimony. We are anticipating that the draft EA will be published on October 8th. The 30-day comment period will conclude on November 7th. We'll ask the National Park Service to revise the EA if needed based on public comments, and then hopefully bring it back to you in November or at the latest December to request that you make a finding of no significant impact. Mahalo.
Yeah, let me just comment about this particular, I guess it's part of the transitioning that's happening for Kalaupapa. And so it's an ongoing process where DHHL is very actively involved. And so I was going to offer the opportunity for Commissioner from Molokai to start to get active in the sense of, there's going to be a lot of input, a lot of, I guess, I don't want to call it competing interests, but to a certain extent, there's those that want to preserve the site. There's others that might want to look at it as an economic opportunity. There's also the possibility of maybe doing homesteading down there, as well as people that want to get a lot more active in the management and development on that area. But there's a lot of issues, especially with the transitioning when the Department of Health vacates. There's a working relationship with the National Park Service, as well as the involvement of DLNR, especially on the areas that need to be preserved, as well as access. Access is a big thing. Protection of the resource, the natural resources in that area is also a big thing, especially for Native Hawaiians. And so we are having October 5th community engagement on Molokai, which I invite the commissioner to attend and participate. We do have fairly regular, actually regular meetings with all the different parties to discuss the issues, and there are a lot of issues. So it's something that, it's going to happen. How we do it is very important. We do have, and we are engaging the community, but I think we also have to make decisions regarding a relationship with the Park Service, the future of that area. And so, again, this is just part of it. So I do invite Commissioner from Molokai, as well as others on the commission that want to participate. Any questions from Nancy?
Could I just add that we are going to be getting into the Molokai Island Plan update in fiscal year 2025. So we're currently starting the procurement process for a consultant. And so that process is going to be taking a look at Kalaupapa, and we'll have extensive beneficiary consultation. So we really see that. We've been doing beneficiary consultation in various ways. We've updated the commission on that. It's been a while. So like I said, we're going to try to do that again this fall. But the ultimate vehicle is going to be the island plan update in order to really seriously take another look at Kalaupapa in terms of everything we know now and get beneficiary input on the plans going forward.
Any questions?
Yeah, Nancy, as you know, I used to work down there. I was there in 1988, 89 when we put the tanks in, the gas tanks. And that was to alleviate bringing barrels in, 55-gallon barrels, which we were bringing every year, 200 of them coming in. And there was a lot of mistakes done by the State Department of Health. Taking barrels like that and getting leaks. Can you tell me if the previous storage area across the graveyard where they were storing the tanks, did the Department of Health come in and do any type of environmental, what do you call?
Assessment
Of the area? Because I was in charge of all that. And bringing the barrels over and storing it, I didn't like that idea. And that's why we put in those tanks. But still, you had the tours that were still bringing in tanks. They
Right.
wouldn't get their gas from the the tanks they were putting in underground. But I also think that the underground tanks that we had put in, which had a 30-year factor, that wasn't sufficient enough to me that eventually it's going to leak, because that's what happened to the previous one. And that previous one was there for many years before they decided to change it. I just want to make sure that the department, Hawaiian Homelands, acknowledges that all this spill that happened over the years prior to me going down, I want to make sure that they did do a cleanup of that area, because that area was prime farming land, where it was, I mean, that's all they had out there, and it's a big field, large field. I don't remember how many acres it was, but it was on the way to the airport. Are you familiar with that area?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so as part of the whole interagency coordination that we've been doing, we have been meeting, we meet once a month, just DHHL and DOH. We also meet once a month, DHHL and NPS. So DOH is actively pursuing multiple environmental remediation projects for Kalaupapa. They need support at the legislature because their budget requests haven't been getting approved. And so I think, it's in the trust's best interest to try to, and our beneficiaries' best interest to support their efforts to get adequate funding. But we're talking millions and millions of dollars. They have a municipal solid waste landfill that needs a new cover. They have a construction and demolition debris area that needs to be remediated. There's, like you say, the environmental testing, soil testing that needs to happen. There's another area where rubbish was buried that's right on the shoreline that's eroding now because of sea level rise. So they're very aware of what they need to do to clean up. They're hoping they can get assistance from us possibly, because there's there's probably 100 abandoned vehicles down there at least.
Yeah.
And those, they are determined to, before they sort of segue out of Kalaupapa, to remediate as much as possible. So we're working with them to make that happen. The Hansen's disease branch is working very hard to make that happen.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was there when they they were dumping the transformers in that dump area, which was a big issue. Electrical transformers.
Yeah, because they
that had
PCBs,
chemicals in it.
Yeah.
And so we stopped all that from dumping any more stuff in there. We had to ship it out. But I mean, my dad retired down there. He worked in the 60s and 70s down there and retired. And I mean, it's a shame that the king had set aside that area for the leprosy settlement, because not all the Hawaiians moved out of that area. Even though the king said to move out, they stayed there. And that's how they ended up with the leprosy and lived down there. In fact, I had friends, the grandfather would go down and help them round up cattle.
Well, that's one of the things we found from talking to the employees down there, mostly National Park Service, but also Department of Health and Department of Transportation, is their families have worked and lived in Kalaupapa for generations. So there's a lineal connection, but also working to reconnect the koku of Ohana that had to leave finally, and that sort of thing. So there's a good big role that DHHL can play, as the chairman said, in making this transition happen in a Pono way.
Now, on other areas, like power, electrical power and all that, it still comes from topside.
The top side,
So
correct.
they're running the line down.
Right.
And that's a big issue, because we had electricians down there repairing the lines and that kind of thing, or repairing home electrical stuff. And then every once in a while, you'd have the electrical company come down. I think for the department, we need to make sure that, because I know that it's going to be people who want to move down there, and I know one person who applied even though the land wasn't being offered to homestead down there. And he turned in his application, but they told him there's no application will be accepted for down there because there wasn't any.
Well, this kind of points to King's Landing, Hana,
Yeah.
and some of these other areas that we're looking at lineal descendants preference. And so this might be exactly a situation where we should consider that also. I just mentioned that there are houses that were used by the workforce down there that are just sitting, and as to opportunities for us to, in advance, maybe possibly do some homesteading there. And that's something we can consider, but I didn't want to take the lead on that. I
Yeah,
prefer somebody.
I'm
that
familiar
has
with the
knowledge.
houses that the Kukuas lived in. They were the state workers for the Department of Health. And we call them Kukuas.
They're just sitting there.
Yeah, and so they moved in since it's not being used instead of living in a dorm situation.
Right.
But it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be.
I know, that's why I'm hoping you can.
I think
jump in
Molokai
there
is gonna wake
figure
up
it out.
and
Good luck.
and I'm glad I had the time to work on that because I know the area.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I walked in and out every day, drove in. So I know the area and also know in Waihanau, they have graveyards all along that cliff area. And the Meyer family had the water rights at the top of the Meyer Lake. And so Tim Stack would come into to check that water. So I'd pick him up at the airport and take him in there.
wow.
And they have the well and all that down there. And the workers, state workers would walk into Waikolo Valley because that's where Kalaupapa was getting their water. And these are these big pipes. So I had to drop them off and they would go in and stay overnight for a couple of days to make sure that pipe pulling the water down was okay and wasn't broken or anything like that. Because we'd have to go in and fix it. We had a dozer that would go in and repair those lines.
Well, I know that area, we got about a little over 1,300 acres, but under the Hawaiian Homes Commission Act, it was over close to 4,000 was set aside. So there may be a need to make an adjustment.
Yeah.
But then again, if depends what we want to do moving forward. I know historically that area was very fertile and was, occupied by Hawaiian communities that prospered. So if we want to seriously consider about making a major homesteading community down there, which, again, I'm not saying we should, but let's maybe explore that.
Yeah. I'm familiar with the area you're talking about too, outside of the cattle guard, going out to Waikolo, not Waikolo.
It's right on the edge
Yeah.
of the boundary
On
of
the
the
left
Hawaiian
side, yeah.
Homelands parcel, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you, Nancy.
Sure.
Oh.
Can I just
Oh,
make a comment?
Commissioner Nevis?
In relation to the fuel tank, we, several of us went out on our visit and we were actually visited that site. It makes sense, bringing it up, getting it at the higher sea level. And with the decommissioning of the tank, even though it's double walled and all that stuff, there's got to be some, I've dealt with a lot of hazardous cleanups on these types of things when I was at San Francisco Airport, and it's very, very expensive. So my concern is even on that decommissioned tank, that tank needs to be removed at some point. And it's very expensive when you get into remediation. So I would hope that if the National Park Service or whoever is trying to put in for, or the Department of Health is putting in for funding, that we support that funding, or we have just, authorized some bills for the ledge, that we put in some bills for the ledge to say, we need this supported as we move forward. We really need to make sure all that's cleaned up, and then we have to be careful of all the EVs down there at the same time. So it's a long process to take that over. It was very interesting when we went down there. Some of the cleanup that you said the garbage was dumped. Well, it's at Lahui Airport. Somebody had decided, yeah, we'll take over a garbage dump. Well, in those days, in the 50s, they dumped in the ocean We spent millions of dollars taking all that stuff out of the ocean, digging a big ditch and putting it in the ground. I mean, it's just like, it's like forever. Then we ran into shearwater birds and the whole world fell apart. But that is gonna be very expensive and it's gonna be watched very closely. But I think moving the tanks will be above ground. We walked that area. I think that's a good process. It's very modern. But keeping the little the cute little gas stations flying, they gotta take the tanks out somehow.
They are, they're
Yeah.
planning on removing them. There have been no leaks.
Yeah.
So as far as we know, it's just gonna be a process of removal.
Yeah, okay.
Good.
Okay, thank you.
Nancy, one more question. Did Department of Health, did they clean up that area that they used to store the gas in?
I don't know,
You
but
don't
I
know?
can
Okay.
find out for you. I'll get back to you on
Chair, we may want to check into that.
Sure.
Because that's part of the settlement
that. Yes.
area.
Well, yeah, they,
But I
I
think it may not be in a
don't know about settlement, but they are in the,
department.
yeah, it's a process we're involved in. And then let me just say that the Department of Health, Dr. Fink, who heads it up, is very committed to
Yeah.
going after funds, and we definitely are supportive.
So,
Thank
Chair.
you.
Chair,
Commissioner
Sir.
Kalekini.
a side question. So we're talking about a lot of transition. So this, for my clarity, this is for when DOH
When the last patients passed
patient,
away
and
and they
we
were vacated.
anticipate the timing on that?
Well, you know, some of them patients, I mean, they've been around a long time, and I remember meeting one of them, this Filipino Hawaiian woman, and she's pretty spry and a lot of.
Yeah, we met one there when we had
Yeah,
to visit, yeah.
Remember that, yeah.
Well, and we really try to be sensitive.
No,
to what
absolutely.
we're talking about.
But we also need to be prepared,
Yes.
so. And we're lucky we have Lawrence, Commissioner Lasua here.
Yeah, I knew the patients, and I'm not sure how many. When I went down there was like 181, I think, left. And when I left, it was 101.
I think there's maybe 8.
It's less than.
So
10.
there's,
Yeah,
yeah,
somewhere
7
around
or.
7 or 8.
But the youngest is Norbert Paleo.
They're extremely healthy. They have very good
That's good.
health care.
It's a nice place to be. So Nancy, I want to ask about the environmental process,
Okay.
for the fuel storage tanks. So we got to comply with HEPA and NEPA?
This is a National Park Service project.
So they got to go through NEPA?
So, yes, we have encouraged them to comply with HEPA.
Okay.
And the commission and the department have to approve new projects. So in the general lease, it talks about that process. So this body actually has,
So the commission and DHHL has to approve of the EA with the accepting authority? Is that how it
Yes.
works? Yeah. The
Yes.
commission or the department?
The commission.
Is the accepting authority?
Yeah, the DHHL is the approving agency, but for environmental review, the commission, deems the final EA is adequate and then makes a finding of no
Got it.
significant impact.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
One more thing, Chair. I know the first superintendent for the national park was Henry Law. And I know when we would meet with him, because they started in the 80s, and so he was the first superintendent down there. But he had identified some of the things that the department were doing wrong. And part of it was like dumping those things in the dump, when they used to dump it on the side of the ocean before, and then they moved it too close to the cliffs. And then that's where,
Right.
yeah. So I hope that even though they cleaned out those areas, I mean, the after effects is probably just as bad. And the thing down there is you have animals running wild, deer and pigs that would be on the trail when I'm walking it, or down below when I'm getting there, the whole herd of deer would be in there. And the baby pigs was in the dump and they were grubbing for food. So, I mean, could be
Yeah,
an
it's
effect
a-
on the animals too.
Capping and securing that municipal solid waste landfill is really important. So that's their top priority right now, Department of Health.
I think they resurrected the hunting program also.
Well, we started to eradicate a lot of it because I'm in my office and the deer is running through my my area and down to the store towards the harbor. And I come out and I look, did you see that?
Yeah, well, this.
Yeah, I think they're terming it animal control, so they
Yeah.
are doing animal.
Yeah.
Started up
control.
again.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
any
you.
other questions? If not, Nancy, thank you.
Oh,
We'll take a short break, 5-minute break, then we'll prepare for the J agenda. And I will be vacant. Thank you.
The cutting of the
The meeting of the Hawaiian Homes Commission will resume following our recess. We were scheduled to have G3 presented beneficiary consultation meetings to discuss lineal descendancy. The presenter is not here, and so we are going to defer that to next meeting. And what we are left with is the J agenda. So thank you for being here in person and online to provide your valuable testimony. To ensure that we can accommodate all 18 testimonies within our allotted time, we ask each of you to be as concise and efficient as possible. Please limit your remarks to 10 minutes to allow everyone the opportunity to be heard. Your cooperation we appreciate, and it'll help us ensure a productive and timely session. Thank you for your understanding and adherence to our request. So the first testifier, Puni Keiko'oha. Auntie Puni.
Aloha,
Welcome.
Maikako. Aloha. Good morning, everyone. Pia, do you have my PowerPoint? If not, we'll just pull it up. That's okay, we'll pull it up.
We have it.
Okay. Aloha, everyone. Good morning. Aloha, Maikako. My name is Puni Keiko'oha. I am a Hawaiian Homestead beneficiary, lessee from the Hawaiian Homestead region of Papakolea. This morning, I am honored to present to you my ohana. I am here speaking on behalf of the ohana o Moku'ahi. And I'm gonna start crying because this is my family. I'm here to speak on behalf of my auntie, Punani Moku'ahi, and her son, Leaf Moku'ahi, who is currently the lessee at 732 Iaukea Street in Papakolea. Here in this picture is my aunt, there in the front with her grandchildren to her right and to her left. Her girls, her granddaughters, Crystal and Cottrell, along with Leaf in the back on the right. He is the lessee, his wife Kimmy, and their son Leaf. The individuals to the left are their ohana is the Ibarra family from Papakolea, who's their neighbors. I'm here because, you know, the Moku'ahi ohana, I have extended myself to be an advocate for them. For those of you who I've not met yet, commissioners, I'm Hawaiian Homestead leader for the last 30 years. I was the president of the Papakolea Community Association for 10. Currently, I was also the executive director of the Papakolea Community Development Corporation until 2013. And today I am the senior vice president of Kulanona Po'e Hawaii, a Native Hawaiian beneficiary serving organization serving Papakolea, Kebalo, and Kalaupapa. So it is my honor to be here on behalf of my ohana. And you know, we always talk about, we talk about homes that need, families that need help. I want you to meet this family because this is most important to me, that you know them and that you get to meet them. Okay, Leah, click. Next. Okay, so this ohana really is comprised of 3 generations of family. The first lessee, who was at 732 Iaukea Street, I called him my tutu. He was Papa. His steamboat is known to us as Steamboat Moku'ahi, along with his wife, Auntie Violet Moku'ahi. They were the first lessees at that address, and that is Leaf's Papa. Following him was his son, Uncle Lani Moku'ahi, along with his wife, Auntie Punani Moku'ahi. And following Uncle Lani upon his passing, this home was left to his son, the youngest son, Leaf Moku'ahi, and his wife, Kimmy. I'm here to update you on the status of this project. My cousin in 2015 had to take his ohana out of their home, and they had to relocate because the home needed to be replaced or rebuilt. And it has been a very long journey on this project. So I'm here to first of all, thank the Department of Hawaiian Homelands, specifically Juan Garcia, for working with this family a number of years ago in trying to address this situation. And really the goal is to rebuild the home. Okay, Leah, click. I'm going to make this real quick. So today, here we are. I live and was raised, that first picture on your right was just yesterday afternoon, yesterday evening. And this is a picture of their home on 732 Elkia Street. This is the view from my garage. When I come home every day, it saddens me to see this hale. And I took these pictures yesterday. And so I'm here today to ask to first update the commission to let you know that we are working with Hawaii Community Lending and Hawaii Community Assets. They have worked with the Mokuahi Ohana for almost 10 years in helping Leaf and Kimmy to become financially able and ready to acquire a mortgage and the resources they need in order to rebuild. Now, let me give you some history about this hale. Leaf's dad, Maunkolani, built this house himself, okay? My dad used to say, this is the house that Lani built. Literally, he built this house. And this home is terraced and it's all tile, okay? So what happens is that when the house needed to be rebuilt, we had, and I say we, because those of us that live on the 700 block on Elkia Street, we've one family. And this home, Leaf ran into a challenge and continues to run into a challenge in the demolition of this home. So I'm here today, commissioners, you have a letter of support by the Hawaiian Community, by Hawaiian Community Lending, asking for the commission's support in helping to bring this house down so that they can rebuild. They are in a financial situation today that they are able to secure finances to rebuild. What we are seeking is support to bring this house down, to demolish this home and move. Now we have a situation currently, my cousin and his ohana have lived in Moanalua renting. They've been renting all this time. And, in 2025, they will be faced with needing to leave that hale. And that hale will be, the owners have decided to sell that home. So they will be displaced. And so it is of urgency that I come on their behalf to ask for your support in helping move forward this rebuild of this home in Papakolea. That's where we are. I'd like to thank HCA and HCL for working with this family. Chanel and Brittany, thank you very much. But yeah, I'm here. We are very super excited I am very honored to represent this ohana. This is my cousin and his children. And I want to just update you, a couple of weeks ago, Leaf and his daughter, Crystal, they came into the department and updated their the lease. So there's been an amendment to the lease. So he bought his daughter. His daughter has been amended to the lease as a co-lessee. So that would enable them to be more financially secure and able to move forward. We're aging, we're ready to retire. My cousin's, he's ready to retire. And so the girl has been brought on right now. HSD is in the process of checking the genealogy to make sure all the appropriate records are complete. And once that is done, we're ready to roll. So just need to make that very clear. Leah, can I see the last, can you pull up the last picture in that PowerPoint? So I'd like to say, in closing, on behalf of the Mokuahi Ohana, I'm going to be back. I'm going to be back to update the commission on where we are as we move along. I'd like to thank you in advance for supporting the Mokuahi Ohana. And in closing, I would like to thank the men, and I'd like to thank Commissioner Kaneakua and David Hoke and Kip Akana for coming to Papakolea and taking an on-the-road tour of all the homes that we identified as abandoned and vacant. And they did an excellent job in July. They identified the homes. About 18 letters were mailed out to lessees trying to get them. About more than half of them responded to these letters. So thank you, DHHL. We have been trying to get these lots filled and get people back on the land. The letters have worked. About half of them responded, and the community is very well aware that DHHL is moving to get these lands, get these properties occupied. So again, thank you, DHHL, for coming to Papakolea. And if you have any questions, I'm here to answer. Mahalo. Thank you, Kali.
Thank you for your advocacy, Auntie Puni.
You're
We
welcome.
appreciate your presentation.
Question.
Yes.
Maybe the first step is for David. It's wanted to ask David, is this a lot that staff has been looking into as far as, like we're talking about all the abandoned homes and what, is this one of the lots?
Yes, so this home was identified, and then I believe they're currently working with HSD to add somebody to the lease. And I believe once they're able to do that, that's going to open up some more financial options for the family to be able to rebuild.
Okay, so we've got these folks on the radar.
Correct.
And what they're asking is for the department to assist with the demolition costs. I mean, is that something that the department have done in the past in other
I'd have to
residences or
defer
not?
to Juan Garcia on that one. Yeah.
Oh, where's Juan Garcia?
Shouldn't be discussing this. This is not open for discussion.
Cannot discuss?
These
Okay.
are, the agendas should not be discussed at the commission takes the information, department takes the information, and then they make a decision and bring it to the commission.
Okay,
Unfortunately, we can't have open discussion at this point.
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. We will discuss this at a later
Just
date.
listen then.
Thank you. The next testifier, Janelle Ohu Kauahi.
Janelle?
Janelle, are you present? Okay, the next testifier, Kalani Tassel. Kalani, are you present? Okay, next testifier, Kahakua Koi Piper. Aloha and welcome.
Do I just begin?
Yep.
Okay. Aloha mai kako. I'm Kahakua Koi, also known as Kahaku Kahuna. I am a lineal heir of the Konahiki of Ewa, House of Keawe, House of Moana, House of Mahi, and a lineal heir to Matayo Kekuanoa. I'm here today on behalf of or as family representative for Muriel Iwane. I'm the CEO of House of Heirs and Kekuanoa Foundation. Also a Hope Pelekikena for House of Heirs. We have been helping to mitigate an unlawful encroachment and trespassing of two of your lessees. We are not lessees. She's not a lessee. She has a property that borders your Waianae Valley homestead on the south side. And so she manages 50 acres of her personal property, of which your lessees have encroached and trespassed and have been served a notice. So I'd like to present this to the commissioners. So as the family representative, in light of the recent violence and gun use in our community in our Moku of Waianae, It's imperative that we be here today to make a plea to the commissioners to act hastily and responsibly to protect her interests, because your lessees have acquired, encroached, partitioned, and placed their personal property on her private property. As you will see, he was given proper legal notice, a notice of trespass. I've also created a list of index of the notices that was sent. To follow a chain of command and proper lawful and legal service of notice, I had given your lessee a notice to remove his personal property with a fee per day. We are 4 months at 100,000 a day, I believe. He's still there, threatened violently to our kupuna here, refused to move his chickens and any personal property that has been partitioned. He partitioned, it looks like about 3,000 square feet, 2,500 to 3,000 square feet. I have a map. I can't give this to you. This belongs to Muriel. This is Muriel's property. And so I just want to give you an idea of where he's encroaching. So if we can just pass it down and you can have an idea. And so after serving Gilbert, giving him 30-day notice, I decided as a representative to inform the Homestead Association of Waianae Valley. And the association was also put on notice. And we requested that they communicate with him. And we were informed that that's outside of their parameters as an association. Respectfully, we're here. We served the notice here. Informing you folks as we go down this chain of command as to mitigating, we're seeking a remediation of this matter quite quickly. She is on the down portion of where the last murder just took place in the valley. So she is not more than a mile away, less than a mile from where the Keamo and the Silva Ohana had an altercation. And so given the situation that's escalating within our moku, as the lessee's holder in due course, DHHL, there is a liability here at factor. And to me, the liability is with the leaseholder. And as the leaseholder holds a portion interest of which you hold as well, we're asking for you to remediate, mitigate, and address this situation as hastily within the law allows. Because at this point, she's trying to refrain from any hostile engagement that has already occurred and threatened her. Get the fuck out of here, excuse my language. And we cannot afford for our kupuna or any life to be taken as a means to a civil land dispute. That's what this is. And so we're trying to not get the police involved just because it can continue to escalate. In our moku, it will escalate. If we call the police, people will retaliate in our community. It is imperative that we ask the commissioners to please come to council some way and mitigate this, because this is serious. It's been going on for years. And to no avail, he refuses to remove his items. And now we have another person that's planted a garden and asked our kupuna to dig out her grass out of the garden that's in her property. You have any input, Auntie? Would you like to share anything with them?
Yeah, 1 second.
Speak closer to the mic, please.
I think you turned it off.
Yes. I just, ask that he go back into his own area. Because he not paying land tax. And he took down our fence and our signs and then encroached on our property. So he said he'd been there for many years, so he not moving. Yeah.
So that's why I asked my niece to help me, with this. That's why we're here today.
Thank you. I know you folks can't give any input, but please know the severity of the matter with the gun violence that's occurring within our moku. So please take this seriously and to remove the liability from DHHL, placing you folks on a legal and lawful notice as of today. You have been informed of this encroachment and trespass, and therefore liability now sits with you as well as the leaseholder. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next testifier, Janelle Ka'ohu Kauahi. Are you present? Okay. Kalani Tassel. Okay. Sherilyn Wahini Kapu.
Aloha.
Aloha will be with you in just a second.
Gonna start.
Okay, we see you. Please continue.
Okay. Aloha. Aloha, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. My name is Luana Kekialani, and I'm the daughter of Sherilyn Wahine Kapu, who is my mother, of course. She's the lessee. I don't know what's happening with the video. I keep saying that the host stopped my video, but I think it's good now.
Yes.
Okay. Aloha, my name is Luana Kekialani, and I'm the daughter of Sherilyn Wahine Kapu, who is my mother. My mother is the lessee of leases 9043 and 10155 at Honokaia on Hawaii Island. I'm here today to ask for your help with approving my mother's third-party grazing agreement, naming my husband Sunny Kekialani to graze cattle there at Honokaia. There are 2 grazing agreements, one for each lease. They were submitted to DHHL in Waimea on July 11th. As you all know, Honokaia ranchers continue to ranch and live without water. My grandfather, Jimmy Akiona, who is now deceased, was awarded the leases back in 2006. This means we've been without water for 18 years. This is unacceptable. On behalf of my mother, Sherilyn Wahine Kapu, my husband, Sunny Kekialani, and our 2 girls, Lilia and Emma, we ask that we are treated like any other citizen that has access to water. Now, ironically, in order to have a lease, my mother needed to submit ranch plans. But in order for a ranch plan to work, water needs to be a part of the plan. Chairman Watson and commissioners, I feel it is insulting for the department to ask Honokaia ranchers to provide ranch plans when water is not even provided to them in order to ranch. This also begs the question, who is it that's reviewing the ranch plans? What are their credentials? What constitutes a solid ranch plan when water is non-existent? I think we need to review the department's plan for reviewing ranch plans. Also, the department's plan for providing water to Honokaia in times of drought. Some of you might be wondering, what does it look like when there's a drought and the cattle have no water to drink? This is when my husband and I and our 2 children haul water in small containers, which we fill in the back of our livestock trailer, and we haul it from Waimea to Honokaia. Once we get to Honokaia, we climb Mauna Kea up to where the cattle are. We haul twice a day sometimes during the dry season, before work and school and after work. Sadly, we have had some cattle die. So this water access issue is not only a human rights violation, it is an animal rights issue. Now, in thinking about solutions, I did find the Hualapai Tribe Water Rights Settlement Act of 2022, where the state of Arizona is required to deliver specific quantities of water in times of shortage. This is where I would like to head with DHHL. We need to be thinking about what the plan is for the dry season. Honokaʻia was not issued water because at the time, they thought it was the wettest area, which it was. I remember that when I was a child, my grandpa was awarded these 2 leafes, and the thought was that we would just catch rainwater, but it's not like that anymore. We cannot afford to have more dead cattle. The wear and tear on our truck, on our trailer, and the time that we are taking away from work and my children losing school instructional time is becoming costly. As a clinical behavioral specialist, I think of the mental health impact that this issue of no water at Honokaʻia is having upon us as beneficiaries. These are feelings of being disregarded, dismissed, and devalued. I have tried my hand at finding out why water is still not being provided at Honokaʻia. With the help of Makai Freitas, I have spoken to the county council representatives in my area and to David Tarnas, but to no avail. Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, important to consider here is the messaging being sent to the people. I urge you to read the academic literature about drought-related stress to the farmers in Australia. The literature speaks to how lack of access to water lends to psychological distress, including suicide. 18 years of ranching at Honokaʻia without water is a long time. Some of the listeners might be thinking, how can they ranch without water? So today I'm offering a solution to this issue, and that is to seek the approval of the 2 third-party grazing agreements which were submitted to DHHL Waimea so that we can seek drought assistance from FSA and so that we can secure a water irrigation system from NRCS. The water irrigation system has already been designed. They are just waiting for the signed third-party grazing agreements from DHHL, and their landowner concurrence forms need to be signed. They tell me that some of these forms are signed by DHHL. It just depends on who the people are. And earlier I heard Leticia speak about how it is in her community. In my community, it depends on who you are. Please help us move forward. This would alleviate our burden tremendously. And I really feel that it is the right thing to do. Mahalo.
Commissioner Freitas.
Hey, Luana and Anthony, good to see you folks this morning. Yes, we've had extensive talks on multitude of topics that you folks are going through. The current water situation in Honokaʻia, from I've been advised that because it's going through litigation, I gotta stay off that topic. We'll talk with Jim DePont and I will circle back with Home Services to see if we can possibly just unattach, for lack of better words, the ranch plan and kind of look at that as a separate entity and move forward with that component while we're still waiting for litigation, the litigation result on the water issue. So I'll get with Jim. I called him this morning, knowing you folks from the agenda. I'll circle back with him again after this, but apologize for what you guys are going through. I understand, especially climate change and everything else, the hardships that the people in our community are going through. But we will circle back with you guys as soon as we can and get you guys some results or answers. Thank you.
Thank you, Makai. And just for the record, so that everyone understands, we are not a party to that litigation. My ohana is not a part of the hui that is involved in that litigation. I understand. Mahalo.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your testimony.
Mahalo.
Next testifier is Cindy Taruya.
Aloha.
Aloha, Ms. Torres.
Aloha.
Please continue.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can.
Okay. Aloha, Hawaiian Home Commissioners. My name is Cindy Teruya, and I've been on the Hawaiian Homes Maui Island-wide wait list since 1996. I will be 66 years old, retired, and living on a limited income, monthly income with Social Security. I received a letter to the orientation meeting in May 2024 for Pu'uhona subdivision phase 1, being on the wait list, waiting for 28 years and having less than 30 days to go through the process of pre-approval was not what I was prepared for, but was encouraged by the grace of Akua to stay the course. I was denied a mortgage loan by Central Pacific Bank, but because of lack of established credit, wasn't offered any explanations or options to the denial. After attending a whole Macau session with Missy and Kai, I got so much clarity on what my next steps are. I still have a way to go, and I'm working on improving my financial status. I speak for not only myself, but other kupuna in the same category of financial limitations. We don't know where to start, nor do many of us have access to a computer and don't know, who to contact or trust. I am grateful for the team at Ho'omaukaukau and looking forward to working with the hui at Aina Ho'opulapula by taking the time to walk me through step by step on what I need to do. What I learned is that there should be improvements made to reach out to kupunas who are like myself on the wait list, to work with them way ahead of these development projects. I would like to see improvements made to DHHL programs that would provide direct funding to beneficiaries like me on the Hawaiian Homelands wait list to go towards the purchase of the home using federal programs. The 99-year lease is my legacy. Of Aina. Not a rental to leave my keiki, my mo'opuna, both born and unborn, is my birthright. Me ke aloha nui for your consideration. Mahalo.
Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
Mr. Ray. Our next testifier, Junia Nakol.
Yes, sir.
Okay, there.
Hold on. Waiting for the video.
Okay, 1 second.
We're getting.
No worry. No worry. No rush. All good.
But you can introduce yourself in the meantime.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh, yes, sir. Sorry. My bad. My
And
bad.
then we'll come up with your slides.
Automatic. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. My name is everybody call me Junior Nakua. My name is Leonard Nakua. From here, from Lahaina. I'm a beneficiary for 20 plus years. I am here to present a product that would benefit the beneficiaries, especially in Lahaina, due to the fire that we just had. The product we have is fire resistant and also windproof for up to 150 miles an hour and all that stuff. And so I'm gonna keep it short on the talk story, but I also get Jerry Gilman. He is the distributor of this product. He's Innova Panels. He's in Florida, and he's also here to answer questions. My partner John Brown, unfortunately, he get bad connections where he stay, so he just said, "Movera, no waste time," and just we wait for the next one. Maybe we can explain them when you guys come here on Maui in November. But if you can play the video, yeah, that would be awesome. And then I go talk story after. Shoot, it's about 2 minutes plus.
Okay.
Hey, mahalo. Wow. Okay. You can hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Okay. You only put the video on. You can only see my ugly face. But yeah. So this product, I know. Hey, unfortunately, we wasn't there in person. You know, definitely we're gonna be there in November, and then we could do a better presentation. But with the distributor being in Florida, and also my partner is in California because he gave up his house for a resident that lost her house to the landlord raising the rent and all that stuff. So he would help out that wahine and or her on about 5 or 6 kids so they could live there. So we this is as much as what we could put together. But one thing is, unfortunately, Archie Kalaupapa not there because he could respond to you guys about how over there is hot, how over there is dry. You know, the whole Lahaina is dry. That's the reason why we had the fire. And then right now, our council member and our mayor is in California after the fire convention. And it is said that, you know, Amber's landing on houses is the big reason for houses catching on fire. So this product, our development team ready to help put some less stress on our beneficiaries so that when we do build them the house in the dry area of Lahaina, that they would feel safe in their home, in their investment. And not when again, a lot of them work two jobs, you know, and some of them, the kids have to stay home. So if the kids stay home, they can be safe. And that's the reason why I would pursue this very harshly in the beginning. Me and my partner John Brown, and so this is and again, some of the people who make comments about the Waikapu, I know I mentioned it yesterday. They said they're on the list. They're high on the list to get one of those houses, but then when they seen the price of over 600,000, they Hawaiian, I don't can do that, you know. And I heard that in the past 2 days of planning people, especially the kupunas who are going to get one set income, you know, with this product. And if you guys did catch them on the video, being less workforce. We can put up this house we can put up the skin of the house in like 1 or 2 days. We can finish the house depending on how many other upgrades that the homeowner wants. So this will be very efficient in time. And so with Leali'i 1B, you know what I said yesterday, if the infrastructure can be done by DHS, hey, why not? Let's go ahead and use our product because it's very cost effective and to the beneficiaries, and also it'll give them a sense of comfort knowing that their the house is fire resistant. Of course, everything is not fireproof, but this one would be better than just a wood structure. So this is what I get for say. But if you get any questions, I have Jeff Gilman on top where you guys can ask him all the hard kind questions like that. And if you guys need to know about local questions here in Lahaina, go ahead, shoot them at me. Yes, sir. Mahalo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nakoa. We'll look forward to seeing you on Maui. Thank
Yes,
you
sir.
for your testimony.
Oh,
Aloha.
no, thank you for your time and all you guys hard work. Yes, sir.
Next testifier, Rose Hattori. We don't see Ms. Hattori on the net. Next testifier, Desiree Olivao and/or Charlene Manu. Oh, aloha.
Aloha. My name is Charlene Mano. I'm a community member of Panaewa Hawaiian Homes, East Hawaii, and I'm big support of the true PHHLCA, President Nani Kaeha. And you guys got our agenda over there. You guys know our story. I talked story with Mr. Watson, telling him that I want him to just listen to our story. It's really simple, really simple. But you guys making it hard, okay? Because to tell you the truth, I'm here for 3 reasons, and I'll give you the 3 reasons. But it isn't easy to not get mad at you guys because you guys are poking nose we're not supposed to be. Really, I only heard from the kupunas above me that I follow. And they said, you know what, it's not you guys kuleana. However, somebody ran around to you guys because no place to run. Because never had nothing, no evidence. So Milton Kalai, he moved from Waimanalo to Panaewa and he knew his place. He just said, you from Oahu, we from Panaewa. So my first thing, okay?
Okay, hi. My name is Desiree Poli Olivao. This is my mother. Charlene, so sorry, just had to kind of like say that. I'm gonna say my part and my mom will say hers. You want me to hand this out?
Okay, wait, you get
now,
10 minutes too, and I get 10 minutes, or we both get the 10 minutes? How does this go?
Individual.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so I am the byproduct of our family's heritage of athleticism, of leadership, and of working with our youth in Pane'ewa, of Hilo, on the Big Island, of our community at large. As a lifelong volleyball athlete, I was a former assistant volleyball coach at Vulcan's University of Hawaii at Hilo. I am also today, right now, the high schools at Waikea High. I was a head coach, volleyball coach, as well as at St. Joseph High School, at a private school. So in that realm, I'm a mouse out there. The original PHHLCA, I was on the board since that 2000, probably 11 or so. Again, they gave me the opportunity to create into the programs committees. I became the athletic director as of that time. I also have my own program as called A Mother's Prayer Foundation, LLC. We, as a family, we put this program together for the fact of our family. As a family-oriented situation, targeting our native Hawaiians willing to participate in the team sport of volleyball, amongst other team sports activities in originally PHHLCA, offers to Pane'ewa community and community at large. Our current teams consist of ages 8 through 18, girls and boys. Since started in 2010, my program. As of today, it's grown for about 50 kids of all ages. We also do in that specific realm, we do clinics around the island of Hawaii on the Big Island. We've been recently coming to Oahu for a tad bit with other people that we know. My sister is in my program. She is the former Manoa volleyball player as well, Tai Manu Olivao. She has been in our program for a while, so she's been with our clinic also and doing my situations at hand. So we are well known outside of our community of Pane'ewa and Keaukaha. As a realm of Pane'ewa Community Alliance is a nonprofit organization providing services to the original Pane'ewa Hawaiian Homelands Community Association, as well as our financial sponsor, despite sponsorship, as well as for us as my program. So it helped us substantial in working with the community. We are trying to, despite the situation of this duplicative organization, acclaimed in the non-existent situation that has been brought to you folks at that hand. We're hoping that this individual heads no programs nor has had any use of the gym. So, however, the original PHHLCA, as we are here for that circumstance, has been in that facility since about 2010, 2013 till today. We have been using the recreational techs, the athletic programs. We also use the park facilities, which is the storage room at large. We've been using it for all the programs that we've been there for. We've tried to work with PNR as well to that circumstance today. I contest that my program, AMP, or A Mother's Prayer Foundation, LLC, has deep standings with our community. Furthermore, we ask that you folks and the park or Park and Rec department work together to make this situation move forward fast as can. because I'm literally working today and then tomorrow I'm really busy at the moment. That's one for me. In that moment of my program, we have like other programs that we're using that storage room for. So it's a really big deal. And we have Christmas coming up. We have all these other things that we are doing very much so that we need to use the facility for.
So my 3 reasons. 1, I need to ask Mr. Watson and what is his name, the one just before him that was here. They wrote a letter to city and county, and we want you guys to cancel that because she has no grounds. And because she attend meetings, so what? Action speaks louder than words. We run things down there that we still run with our own money. And my family has a legacy there, if you want to talk about that. My father made the parks over there. They worked together with you guys. And that's why I need to bring that up, that my daughter, she told me, Mom, I tired see Hawaiians fight against each other. And look who causing this. Okay, we was okay, almost power. And then the next one is, our next generation, she asked me, we need to work together with you guys. And I say to you guys, thank you so much for providing us the land for the park. When my dad asked you guys for land, we had it. He made the pavilions. And then Billy Pianoy, Pane'ewa boy as well, he helped. If it wasn't for him, probably we wouldn't have that gym over there. And then also we had Bill him, and then we have other uncles that sacrificed themselves, you know, from Kauai. All they wanted to know was just for you guys to listen. An uncle who lost their home, and because they just want you guys to listen and do what is right. And my other uncle who cemented his water meter just to let you guys know that just listen, there's something right there that we need to do something right.
Listen, but I need to speak as well.
Somebody keeps interrupting. Okay. Anyway, all I know is the right thing to do is we need to stop that letter, cancel that letter that went to city and county. We worked together real well with them. Since the time of my dad as being the president, and even now, they helped me put those humps on the streets because my daughter was killed on that street. And then I found out we had less signs that we're supposed to have there in Pane'ewa. And then we made the humps, and all those people, we all worked together to make this thing, the walking path and all those. So all I'm saying is we have to stop this thing because they feel bad, city and county not helping us. Say sorry, you know, because we work together with them, we even play together with them. So this is my family's legacy to you guys to let you know that we have a long story and we know we're doing right. I only hang with Pono people. And right now, that's not Pono, what is happening to us over there. And I just wanted to tell my daughter, this is the programs, we spend our own money to make our programs over there. So all I can say, I wrote on whole big thing, but that's okay. With our combination of my children, my son, my brother, we coach over there for a combination of 70 years of experience of kind, because he's also an alumni of University of Hawaii playing football. So we had a few professionals coming out of our small little Pane'ewa. And that's how we're giving back to you, to show our mahalo, by giving people positive, striving, and successful Hawaiians from Pane'ewa, because we used to have a name. We used to be the druggy town, but not anymore. So that's our way of saying mahalo for you guys, for helping us. Mahalo. That's it. Any questions?
No, we hear what you're asking.
Yeah, mahalo nui.
No, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you for making the trip. We appreciate
So we just asked about the letter and if we can.
it. Yes.
And we do
reverse
have a
that.
plan,
We do
our
have all
project
this.
Pomole'au. We do have a plan. And what you call, if we do get that money, I promise. We need one certified kitchen at the gym. We have 1,000 kids come every day at the gym. Yeah, we don't see that lady down here. We don't see none of you guys over there. Okay? We have 1,000 kids. So we need one certified kitchen. And then the other half would be our the first increment of making that building on Kamoleao. Make the bathrooms first. But we on it. It's just that we get one. You know, you guys, yeah. And I am mahalo for you guys time. And all you guys do for our people. You guys get so much big piliki already. And us only one picking anyone, just like when, you know, like the stone in our shoe, just irritating right now. So sorry.
No.
Okay?
Don't ever be
But we gotta
sorry.
work together. That's the main thing. We just gotta work together.
Yes.
Because when we never communicate with each other, who do we run to you guys? Come on. Yeah. We can handle with big people, with big kids. We
My
can
grandpa
handle.
was president, and my mom was president too.
I was a president once.
So we'll see.
Yeah. We
Thank
cannot
you.
run away from that place. Mahalo nui.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We hear your request. Mahalo.
You want to? I just come from a generation, you always love it, but I'm trying not to.
Thank you.
Hello.
Next testifier, Alan Cardenas.
There he is.
Hello, commissioners.
Aloha.
Okay, thank you for this opportunity to share with you folks this morning. Will I be able to share a screen?
Yes, 1 second.
Yeah, thanks again for the opportunity for allowing me to share. I'm from Nanakuli Homestead. Love the place and just love being a part of that beautiful community. And I'm sorry, let me try to see, pull up the power screen. Sorry about that.
Look, calling.
Can you folks see the PowerPoint?
That lady, please.
Can you folks see the PowerPoint? Yeah, can. Okay,
Can.
so yeah, I grew up in Nanakuli Valley, Nanakuli Homestead, in the back of the high school. I've been pastoring out there. I'm a pastor at Nanaikapono Church for the last 20 years. And one of the things that I'm extremely concerned about, have been concerned about, is the violent crime out in our community. So I come here with a broken heart, asking for the support of the commission to continue to work together to create a safer, more caring community, not just in Nanakuli, but in 96792 in West Oahu. I am also part of the neighborhood security watch teams. That way we work together with police, government agencies, community organizations in an organized effort. I believe now is the time that for us to lokahi and laulima together to prevent, deter, and reduce crime in our community. This is Kealana Avenue. The guys with the red shirt here were former drug dealers, gang members in our community that terrorized the community, and they have turned their lives around. They are part of our leadership team in our neighborhood security watch. This is Kealana Ave, where we had prayed for and asked for a contested case hearing in a very problematic property that I've been talking about in the commission for a number of years. So what we want to do, commissioners, is to continue to work with you, work with the department in an organized effort to prevent, deter, and to reduce crime. Also, we're part of the community policing that we look for the underlying cause of a lot of the problems that we have in our communities. And one of the ways that we do that is to work with the enforcement team. Big mahalo to Dave and Kip and Juan, Kanai, the rest of the crew. We work together. I love working with them. But if we can be able to look at how we can make this pilot program more effective, I think we can start to make a difference in our community. One of the things, again, with this pilot program is to look at tougher penalties with criminal activities, specifically in District 8, Kapolei, Nanakuli, Waianae area. Also, the biggest thing for me coming to you folks here this morning is how we can continue to work together to eliminate this crime on Homestead. I will share with you some of the things that we're dealing with right now, and be able to work together for contested case hearings and for DHHL to help instill confidence back in our community, with our community, to restore hope, trust, working relationships, and confidence with beneficiaries. This is the slide that David Hoke had shared on February 21st when he was there with Mike Lambert. We have a wonderful working relationship with HPD and number of law enforcement agencies, but I think we can do more to work together with the commission and with the department. And here's one of the biggest things, the biggest challenges. The staff is limited there. Resources is limited in the department. However, the solution is collaboration, and that's the key word. Collaboration between the department and beneficiaries, associations like our Neighborhood Security Watch. So one of the things with this pilot program, the challenge is there's no consequences with these people that are dealing drugs and doing all these things in our community. So we need to look at getting tougher, especially in regards to canceling leases. One of the examples that David and his team has used is the property right next to our church. This had been a problem since 2017, and December last year, they tried to convert this magnet property for criminal activities into a game room right next to a church. It is shocking and alarming of what's happening on DHHL land. So one of the things that we're doing, again, we're working with guys that used to serve time, break the cycle of incarceration to be part of the Neighborhood Security Watch. We want these men in Homestead to serve God, not time. One of the guys is Mana Olayan, that again, this is now he used to spend 26 years riding in a backseat of the police car. Now he's riding in a front seat to partner with police to give back to the community. One of the things that we do with our Neighborhood Security Watch is Operation Blue Light Christmas. Bring law enforcement, government together to partner with the community where we can give back presents during Christmas time. The department have been very supportive. Juan Garcia have been out there. We want to partner with you guys December 14th of this year. But again, I'm here to look at the violence. What can we do to be a better job to prevent, deter, reduce this kind of crime? Again, the domestic violence out in Waianae Homestead just a couple weeks ago. After that shooting in Waianae Homestead, these two brothers contacted me that they want to be part of the solution. This is huge that they contacted us, want to be part of our Neighborhood Security Watch, because these brothers are the famous, notorious Sua brothers from Waipahu. 7 of the brothers did crime, combined prison sentence over 230 years. Nelson Sua and Eddie Sua had called and want to be part of our Neighborhood Security Watch. This is us calling the men together, a bunch of men to stand to protect our community. So this is the asset. This is part of the collaboration we want to work with the commission and the department with. What blew my mind was when I saw Prua Irvine on the news where Mr. Wong pointed the gun at her, threatened to kill her and her family. Thank God that that gun didn't work. But when I saw that, I knew that our NSW, Neighborhood Security Watch, needed to go out there and do something. The following Wednesday, we went out there and we met these 2 girls. These was the 2 girls on that street where the shooting happened, caught in a crossfire. We saw them and we went out there. We prayed for a whole bunch of people out there. One of the things that we're going to do is to prevent, deter, reduce crime. It has blue lights and ice cream. The police department, the police is going to be using their cars to bring ice cream to the community, because our children think that the police is the bad guys because that's the only time we call them. So what we're going to do next week, Monday, on the 23rd, is bring unity back in the community, put the neighbor back in the hood, spread aloha, not violence. We want to encourage you guys to come out there to join us. These are the men. And this is transformation. I've been telling law enforcement, you can board up the house, you can shut down the house, but if the men are not transformed, we're not transforming the community. Here you have two police officers right next to them, and what you have next to them is Nelson Sua and Eddie Sua standing together. This is transformation. Commissioners, we want to partner with you guys to start shutting down these drug houses. This is Pastor Talamua. He used to roll with the cartels. He used to serve time. He's serving God. These are some of the resources that we want to collaborate with you guys. So with that said, we need your help. This is our church in Nanakuli Pua Ave. This is the house that's been a magnet for years. I want to share with you guys some of the things that's going on. For years, it's been infested with rats and so forth. For years, our community have been under siege and subjected to the manufacturing, distribution, causing, maintaining, abetting, permitting of drug nuisance on DHHL property. We want to shut that down and stop that. We don't want anybody to lose their lease, but we are tired of being terrorized. The auntie had passed away in 2016. That property and many others in that valley and beyond is a magnet for community activities, criminal activities. We got registered sex offenders, suspected arsonists on the property, female teenagers doing school hours going there, doing who knows what, high volume of chronic drug activities, verbal, physical threats to our family on Pua Ave. Last year, February 10th, a 4-year-old girl was threatened to be stabbed by a chronic on their property. A 20-year-old man staying on property is now a suspect of murdering someone else in a community November of last year. Residents have been moved out, put in a hospital because of the stress. It's a public health and fire safety. And by the way, no kauhale, no transitional shelters on Pua Ave. It's a dangerous, deadly, costly liability, commissioners. Therefore, I want to offer a positive, productive solutions. I want to help partner with you folks. Chair said in July to David Hope to partner with nonprofit organizations, partner with community organizations. With that said, I am here to extend to the chair, the commission, and the department. I want to be part of the solution. Commissioners, we need this. We need collaboration. So I want to offer our assistance. Here I am. Love you guys. I appreciate you guys. We gotta stop the violence. Spread aloha, not this violence. So with that said, again, my name is Alan Cardenas Jr. I approve this message. Please use these men, our caring community. There's nothing more powerful than grassroots movement like this local people want to rise up to be able to partner with you guys. So love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Pastor Cardenas, thank you so much for actively partnering with us, with our enforcement teams and with the HPD. That's a pilot program out there that you folks are putting life into. We appreciate that, and keep going. We appreciate that. Thank you very much for your testimony, and aloha.
Thank you.
The next testifiers, Kainoa McDonald, Kalania Kea Wilson. Okay.
Aloha kako.
Halo.
I miss you guys. I haven't seen you guys for a while. Took a hiatus, finished my PhD, and now I'd like to ask you guys to, my focus is on genocide. So genocide occurred here, and when Kupuna died on the wait list, that's continuing a genocide targeting the native Hawaiian peoples. So I'd like to help you guys stop the genocide and place 29,500 waitlisters on the land immediately. Oh, I have a question. Is the Attorney General representative there?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. I'll follow up with a letter after this testimony, but for Chair Watson, Commissioner Kalekini, Commissioner Freitas, since I'm a waitlister on the Big Island representing the Association of Hawaiian Homelands Waitlisters, I'd like you to request a legal opinion from your office under the legal basis under international law that the state of Hawaii exists within the territory of the United States and not within the territory of the Hawaiian Kingdom. I'll repeat that. I would like for the commissioners, Chair Watson, to request a legal opinion from the Attorney General's office according to Hawaii Revised Statute Section 28-3, a legal opinion that must provide a legal basis under international law. The state of Hawaii exists within the territory of the United States and not within the territory of the Hawaiian Kingdom. I'll follow this up with a letter to your office, but giving you guys the opportunity to make this simple request immediately so that no other waitlister will die waiting for their lease or their rehabilitation. So my research that I'll be presenting in 2 months to the 6th Annual International Genocide Conference at the University of Sacramento will outline how the usurper initiated a state of war and an invasion of the Hawaiian Kingdom territory actually initiated policies of genocide. And so I'll outline all of that in my presentation. And therefore, now we're working towards stopping the genocide of the 29,500 waitlisters. And the part is in where is it? November 4th, 1988, President Ronald Reagan officially ratified the convention after the Senate gave its consent in 1986. So that will all be coming. Any questions?
No, we have no questions and understand that you'll be sending us the letter. So mahalo for your testimony. We appreciate your representing.
Mahalo, have a great day.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Next testifier, Jermaine Myers.
May I
Aloha,
testify,
Commissioners.
Dr. Myers?
Am I next,
Yes,
Vice
Jermaine.
Chair
Go ahead,
Kanekua? Okay. Can I share screen, Leah?
Yes, 1 second. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, where is it? Right there. Okay, can everybody see? Oops, go back to here. Can everybody see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, and then can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, excellent. Aloha, my name is Jermaine Myers. I'm a Nanakuli Hawaiian Homestead lessee. The first thing that I like to address with commissioners is the Haima sirens that are not working next to Hawaiian homesteads on Oahu, in Nanakuli, and in Waimanalo, and on Kauai in Kekaha, where my ohana lives. I didn't have time to check the islands of Maui, Molokai, and Big Island, but I wanted to share with you what is affecting our communities at this time. Inoperable sirens. So the first slide that I'm showing you is the Princess Kahanu siren, OA317. The red signifies that its maintenance is required, contracting support. So they have gone through procurement to get the parts that they need to in order to fix the siren. My concern is that it's been inoperable for the last 4 years. So a community member came to our neighborhood board and brought to our attention that this siren hasn't been working for 4 years. It's a siren that will actually save lives in Princess Kahanu Estates. As you can see towards the bottom of the map, the green OA316, that's my siren for Nanakuli Hawaiian Homestead, the 1,050 homestead lots. But it's too far for Princess Kahanu to hear. So I'm bringing these things to your attention because I would like the department and the commissioners on the islands respectively to these inoperable sirens to link up with us and send a letter to Haima to get action. The last time we had a resident of Maili bring it to our attention that their siren wasn't working for 4 years and sent us an extensive letter. A retired teacher from Nanakuli High School, Catherine Kamada. There was always excuses after excuses, and she couldn't understand why other sirens kept working and not theirs. After the August fires in Lahaina, she became afraid that her and her other retired sister that live at that home would not receive sufficient notice from a siren if there was a fire or if there was some type of other danger that was heading their way that the sirens would let us know about. On the next slide, you'll see Waimanalo sirens that are not working. There is 3 in Waimanalo to let our Waimanalo homestead lessees know that there is danger coming, and 2 of them are not working. OA 402, which is Waimanalo Valley, the red. Again, they're trying to contract or procure parts for that siren. The black one, OA 402B, has not been. It's black means beyond repair. I don't know how long these sirens haven't been working because no one from Waimanalo comes to Nanakuli Maili Neighborhood Board to share with us their kuleana. So I don't know what's happening with these, but I'm hoping one of the commissioners can reach out, Oahu commissioners can reach out to Waimanalo Association members or leadership and find out from them how long did they notice that on the 1st of each month they haven't heard a siren. But also, how can we advocate for these 2 sirens to be repaired and turn back to green, which is operable sirens? The next slide is Kekaha on Kauai. I have family that live in Kekaha and Anahola. Kekaha, this siren is the only siren that can notify all of them in the Kekaha homestead, KA 707. And again, it's one of those that they need parts. We've noticed from the feedback that we get from community that whenever there's parts that is needed, according to Haima staff, it takes them 6 months to 1 year to procure the parts. So the one in Maili that hasn't been working for 4 months, when we had Haima come to our neighborhood board in July, she told us it would take 6 months to a year to get the parts for that. What we were concerned about is that there's over 400 sirens statewide. I'm assuming that sirens need the same type of parts. There should be like a maintenance program, but I'm just concerned that ours along the Waianae coast so far too, that we've been notified about, have been inoperable for years. So I want to bring this to your attention so that we can get help from commission, since it affects our homesteaders and their lives. Now I'm going to stop sharing here and come back to the main screen. The next thing that I wanted to share with commissioners is as a Nanakuli Hawaiian homestead, I would like the opportunity to have an in-person meeting with Oahu Commissioner Sanoi Marfel, Oahu Commissioner Walter Kaneakua, and DHHL staff Stacy Lynn Eli, who is a Nanakuli resident, and the DHHL Information and Community Relations Specialist. Particularly, I'd like to discuss in person before I come to the board the issues of Senate District 22 that impacts the Hawaiian homestead communities in Waianaimoku from Kahe Point to Kaena Point. As you can see, sirens is one of those issues that I brought to your attention today. But in Waianaimoku, we have 1,050 lots in Nanakuli Hawaiian homestead, 268 lots in Princess Kahanu, 19 lots in Kaupuni, 149 lots of Lulu'ole, and 421 lots of Waianae. I want to speak to you specifically about the housing in Nanakuli Homestead, the Farrington Highway Corridor. The Farrington Highway Corridor affects all of us along the Waianae coast. So it affects my brothers and sisters, my fellow lessees in Waianae homesteads that I mentioned. I'm on the Transportation Committee. I'm on the Housing and Zoning Committee for my neighborhood board. I attend city council meetings, town hall meetings, and I would like to inform commissioners of the issues that impact us along the Waianaimoku, and we need help from you. I'd like to also talk to you about business and employment opportunities that affect lessees of Waianaimoku. And these are the things that I would want to bring to your attention. Vice Chair Kaneakua, how can we set up such a meeting?
We note that you're asking for that, and I will discuss that with Commissioner Marfil. You do not request a meeting, and this is the association is requesting the meeting, or you're requesting it personally?
I'm requesting a meeting with the three of you, Stacy Eli and two commissioners.
Right. Is this a personal meeting or is it the association meeting?
No, it's not an association meeting. Oh, it's a personal meeting to discuss those things that I shared with you.
Okay, I will discuss that with Commissioner Marfil. I noticed that you don't request Commissioner Namu.
Well, Commissioner Namu is also welcome.
Okay, all right, thank you. And I'll talk to Commissioner Marfil about that.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Kia kupu, God bless all of you. Have a blessed day.
Thank you for your testimony. Next testifier, Homilani Shadell.
How can I testify?
Homilani Shadell.
No.
Okay.
I was told that Kalani Tasso is on, but I don't see him.
I'm Lele Hualani Kekani Sr. May I please testify?
Just a second, we're going through the list of people who have requested to testify. Homilani Shidell, not present. Kalani Tassel, are you online? Demont Manaole. Okay. Blossom Viterra. Blossom has deferred. I know she's in the area. If you want to just check, please, David. Appreciate that. Last call for Rose Hattori. And last call for Janelle Koohu Kawahi. The lady who's requesting to testify, could you state your name again, please?
Leile Huanani Kane. Oh, there. Okay. The chair will allow you to speak.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Okay. Yeah, I did want to take a moment just of silence for the passing of Chief Maui Loa of the Hawaiians. He was my biological younger brother, and he became a ward of the court in 1958, United States of America, through Judge Corbett. Then in 1959, we were made wards of the state of Hawaii and put in foster care, where we lived for 4 years. But as you know, when you grow up and become an adult, you literally struggle to try to address, to be identified as who you are as a human being. And the natives of Hawaiian, through others, such as Kamuela Price, who sat on the task force for Native Hawaiians at the old Native Hawaiian Homestead Commission in Honolulu. He was very successful as an underwriter. He was our father, our biological father. And, he wasn't Native Hawaiian, but was Hebrew. He was also raised in a synagogue. And when he met my mother, he said she was the closest thing to that person called Jesus Christ. So he married her and had 3 children and denied all my siblings. Out of the 10 of us, there's only 6 living. Maui was the last passing. He was the 4th child. And he worked very hard to represent himself as a Native Hawaiian with a small n. And he spoke the pure understandings, because just like Poi, you got to pound him for make him soft. My father schooled him, and every word that they uttered on paper and passed through the legal due process in the government, your office, the Hawaiian Home Commission, they were able to be very successful and recognize so the people of the bloodline would be preserved in these last days. And we're still breathing, many of us. I kupuna now. I'm only 71, but I kupuna in my household. And I feel privileged. So I'm calling today because there's many issues when it comes to surviving. And most of the language, terminologies has been presented and is being oleloed and looked at, because as we continue to examine what has already been written in our behalf, the light gets a little bit brighter, and we can see, just like God's word, he made prophecies back there in the Garden of Eden, and only now in the book of Revelation, which all mankind is walking through in God's word, the Bible, the light are getting brighter, so we can see, oh, that's what mean, oh, this what mean, which is what very vital. And Heavenly Father, he take care of that one. We know him as Omakua Okalani, and then his son Ali Inui, who took the throne in 1914 in the heavens. So the kingdom was set up, the one he came to earth, known as Kani Keakua Nui Loa. So we got it. We know, we understand. Many of us had to go underground and share, either through our music, our olelo, or, symbolical. But we get them because that's us. And very good, because good is good and bad is bad. But then when we have the system that Heavenly Father tell us to work with, or to, the proper authorities, the superior authorities upon the earth, if they still have standing, not to stand in opposition, because all things come through him. There's nothing on earth that doesn't come from Heavenly Father. It's only if we recognize individually and collectively. Fortunately, we have a seal. And that seal says, which is our mother's tongue. And it's real, and it works, because it shows there was a people and is a people. And we have the superior authority when it comes to that one. So what is that? We don't have the gun, the bullet, because it's forbidden. Because we learned World War I, World War II. Many of us went apart and we died. And many of us survived. We survived the Holocaust. We survived statehood. We survived United States of America, and we survived Kamehameha overthrow of the clan of the Kailua, which I come from on my mama's side. On my grandfather's side, on my grandma, I come from the Kau'i, and she married Ehu. Kaluio Kalani, I mean, Ehu's mama. And his heiau is over there in Aiea, and my mama's heiau is Mahuka Hali'iwa. So those things are still intact. And many of the ohana and the children, the offspring, they go look for see what really happened, what that, this and that. So we want to share, those things so that, Solid, Heavenly Father, Almighty God, Yahweh, Hawa. Hawa is an ancient name, it's Hebrew. And when we say Hawaii, then we are actually agreeing that Hawa is the namesake on the Aina we live. So that's Kapu, all the Aina, not just one portion, which some have the oversight to oversee, like yourselves, but the whole thing, all of us. That's how we come together and we agree with the nations. So the instructions are work it out with the nations. UK, you can say, or United Nations. And that's the United States who oversees. So when you look to that nation, then you're outside the archipelago. And now you're depending on another entity to support and to survive. So today, we in survival worldwide. What if we get one mean war, World War III? The ship's not going to pull in the dock. We have nuclear warheads. They're all in place. Did they bypass us? I don't think so. So we're looking at, what if when famine comes and the ships cannot bring in the food? All those things has to be looked at. Why? Because each and everyone living on this Aina called Hawa is dependent on self-sufficiency. So Heavenly Father, He makes His promises. He says in the simple terminology, seek His kingdom and all things be added. On the other hand, what can we do to make sure that we're not going to starve? He the one going to make them happen. Talk about the water. He made the water come out of one rock. Yeah.
Ms. Connie, thank you so much for your discussion. Could you summarize just in
Yes. Okay.
one sentence and then?
I have a few kuleana aina. I lived and married 50 years to the Kani family in Waihole, Waikane. And I know my ahupua'a. I know my partial. I know my lot. I know all the divisions that was provided so we can rejoice and say, oh, we get place for live, we get place for momoe, we get place for puli, we have kaukau. Those are the basics. But I no more room for my ohana. The reason why I talked about honoring my brother was because he had summarized and won the title of tribe. We are a tribal people. We had many addresses.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
yeah.
And we thank you for calling and we thank you for honoring your brother. We appreciate your testimony to the commission.
Let me
we wish you well.
Thank you.
Mahalo.
So wait, don't turn me off because I time myself. The point here is, if we are still looked at as a tribe through the Native Hawaiian Homes Commission, because you just received the funding under Nahasta, that funding went wherever, the Native Hawaiian Council distributes, because you use them, yeah. So we're looking at $600 million this year, 2024. it's not only if we're eligible for the money, we don't want to disqualify ourselves, but there's also the landmass. Okay, I have a title that I need to be transferred from HHFDC to Hawaiian Homes, so our tribe has sufficient to survive in these days, and we're looking at about over 40 people still on the Aina of Oahu that can come home and survive and help each other. But we need help, yeah, because even if we live in one tent bedded in the sidewalk, there's rape, crime. That's what's happening in Waianae. The homeless is severe. So we'd like to take the lead on that and be one of the community leaders that were managed. We're looking to Hawaiian Homes. We attempted to bring Hawaiian Homes in, but at the time we weren't in order with the title. So when my brother died, I not only became my father's estate, an administrator, because my two siblings died. I also became my brother's beneficiary, which is number 2 on the list, and I think he's moved up to number 1. So if we two could make an appointment, it's very hard to pass the secretary.
Thank you, Ms. Kane.
Okay.
Thank you for your testimony today.
Okay, I'll try to communicate better. Okay, mahalo.
Thank you very much.
Mahalo. Okay.
Just one last, Princess Lehuanani. Would you like to make comments? 3 minutes. We know that you're not registered for, but you did make the trip. So if you'd like to have 3 minutes, we're aloha.
Thank you for this opportunity. Actually, I came here to pick up. I put out all my files so I can go through and see all the different places that I was displaced because I wasn't put on Hawaiian homelands. So that's why I'm here. I also just came from another location of my residence. I'm moving from a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home to a studio. Because you guys cannot provide me land and the home that I signed up for 30 years ago, 1993. Are you guys waiting for me to die first?
Okay. She's saying the truth.
Are you guys waiting for me to die first? I've been here in front of you guys for the past 10 years. You guys have done nothing but turn the other way. My family has suffered. My kids have suffered. My grandbabies is now teenagers suffering in your system of crime, drugs, and I hope they don't end up in jail like, I just got out. I just came out of prison. 7 days in isolation. And I just want all my cops. What are you guys gonna do about it now? From a 3-bedroom to a studio. Shoot me already. Kill me already. Because I'm already a walking dead in my history. But legacy for my family. Get you guys at 4. Should I say thank you? Or should I say, how can you guys speak? I also came here to meet the new representative of Maui. Where is he? Where's Kalaupapa? So I can tell him, bring me home. His house that burned down. Well, lucky him. I don't even have a home for my family. Thank you. I'll care for this time. Thank you so much, Leila. Thank you.
Thank you.
Give me all my land before I die. That's all I gotta say. I waited 30 years. Get me all my land before I die. Oh, beautiful. Maru. E oma ua. Ino kalanu. E o inoa to inoa. E kiwa koa pude. E malabaina ko. of you can hear me, I talk to the dead now. That they can rise and put me where I belong on my land.
Thank you. Thank you. And commissioners, thank you for extending the privilege. We have come to the end of this month's agenda. Mahalo for participating. Mahalo to the Waimanalo Homestead Association for hosting last night's community meeting dinner. Our next regular Hawaiian Homes Commission meeting is scheduled on October 21st and 22nd, 2024. Grand Nani Loa Hotel, Sandalwood Ballroom, 93 Banyan Drive, Hilo, Hawaii. We are adjourned.
Yes. Great job. Bye, Commissioner.